Good evening and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is your final word. This is Sunday evening and this is a look back in the week that was Rangers, in what's been going on this week, and obviously a look ahead to what is upcoming this week at the club. Thank you to everyone who's already joined us. Please obviously smash that like, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on any of the content as we talk all things to do with the greatest club in the world out there. Janet McFarlane, welcome and good evening, Owen. Evening, Bobby. How you doing? Caleb, the wee blue nose. Hello, evening, Caleb. Right, guys, I want to just start before we talk all things football, before we talk about the greatest club in the world, before we talk all things Rangers, I just want to talk about one thing that I've seen over the weekend, something that is shocking, something that is upsetting that happened over the weekend in relation to our great club. Evening, Stevie. Evening to Stephen as well. I don't know if any of you saw that there was Go Scotland. I don't know whether any of you saw what happened outside Hampden on Saturday evening. A female member of St Johnstone carrying a drum was attacked by two so-called Rangers fans. I just want to absolutely take this opportunity to utterly condemn what those two absolute scumbags did. Those two are not fit to be fans of this club. I hope the club come out and utterly condemn them. I hope that the police of Scotland are able to find them. I hope that once they find them, I hope they give them a long sentence for their crimes. And I hope they are banned for life from watching Rangers. We don't want that sort of fan. We don't need that sort of fan with our club. Yeah, absolutely awful. You know, to attack a female fan of any club. Any club. I don't care if it's St Johnstone. I don't care if it's Dundee United. I don't even care if it's Celtic. For a male fan to attack a female fan makes you a coward, makes you a scumbag, makes you a moron, makes you just an absolute cretin. If you attack a female fan and you steal, obviously it was to steal the drum that she was carrying, you are scum and you should be absolutely banned for life from supporting Rangers. You are absolute scumbags. You are not part of our club. You are not welcome at our club. You are never welcome at our club. Go away. We don't want your sort at our club. And by doing what you've done, you've just put some more bad press onto the club, which the opposite side of the city are making hay with, that some media in Scotland are making hay with. Okay, and I just want to take this opportunity to utterly condemn those two individuals, whoever you are. You're scumbags. You're absolute scumbags. And you do not deserve to support the greatest team in the world. And we utterly condemn you. And the vast and 99.9% of Rangers fans utterly condemn what happened. Please do not associate us with those people. Caleb, I agree with you 1,000,000% on that. Never lay your hands on a female. What else have we got? RFC 56 on my mods. How are you doing? Grow Scotland, I agree. Fucking scumbags, not Rangers fans. Absolutely. Good evening to my better half. Love you, babe. Here. Stephen as well. Right, guys, look, let's start off with the cup draw that was made this afternoon. Now, obviously, the results this afternoon, unfortunately, that lot did get through. The cup draw, if you have not seen it, this is the cup draw for the next round of the League Cup. Aberdeen take on Spartans. I think that's really unfair having to take on 300, but there we go. I wonder if I've probably done this joke before, guys, but does anybody know before the game, do they go, "This is Sparta," and then go, "Huh!" like that, like the film? I don't know. Celtic are at home to Falkirk, Motherwell v Dundee United, and Rangers at home, well, probably at Hampden, against Dundee. The game will take place on the weekend of the 21st and 22nd of September. It remains to be seen where that game will take place. But I'd love to get your thoughts on that draw. Kevin on the board. Absolutely. Tunnux as well. Thank you very much, Tunnux. Ibrox is looking okay. That's good, positive news. So home tie, Dundee. Look, this is a game we should be winning, a game that we should be putting to bed, a game that we should be, getting through quite easily through. I mean, let's face it, Dundee, no great shakes, not a great team, are they? We look at the results from over this weekend in the Scottish League Cup. And we look at what other teams have done. So, Celtic obviously won 3-1 today against a very, very poor Hibs team. Motherwell beating Kilmarnock 1-0. Kilmarnock's dreadful start to the season continues. Dundee United won St Mirren 0. It's really telling, isn't it? Those teams that are in Europe that are not Rangers and Celtic really struggling with adapting to obviously playing the Thursday, Sunday kind of thing, isn't it? So, yeah, really struggling. Celtic, so Dundee, remember, they beat Airdrieonians 6-1 to get to this stage. So Dundee in the next round, like I said, that is a game that we should be winning, a game that we should be putting them to the sword. I know there was the end of last season, we had the 0-0 away at Dens Park, the only ground in Dundee that is affected by global warming, as we're aware. Obviously, Tannadice is not affected by global warming, but the other side of the street is affected by global warming, as we know, according to the officials at Dundee Football Club. It's good that it's obviously at Hampden or Ibrox, hopefully, and not at Dens Park, where you can never rely on the pitch there, can you? Really, let's face it, they could have a tsunami, they could have a typhoon, they could have just a sudden downpouring, and anything could happen, couldn't it? I mean, Noah could turn up with his ark, and anything could happen to their pitch, really, genuinely. But yeah, Dundee in the next round, guys. Got to say, happy with that draw. I would have, part of me would have liked them. I would have liked them. You always want to play them. You want to beat them. That's just the way things are. Although at the moment, I don't think that's entirely possible. Blue Nose John says, good evening, Owen, and all the teddy bears in the chat. Good evening to John. How you doing, buddy? Good evening, Aldo. Evening, guys. How are you all doing out there tonight? I hope you are doing well. Some other news, just before we get on to talking, obviously, about the games this weekend and the performances this weekend. If you remember, Albion Rahmani, who was linked with a move to Rangers, has joined Sparta Prague in the Czech Republic. Yes, the same Sparta Prague that we played in the group stages of the Europa League last year. He has joined Sparta Prague for £4.25 million, which is a little bit under the supposed rumours that were swirling around of 5.5, 6.57 million pounds, which were the rumours that were doing the rounds earlier in this transfer window. Seems like another target missed out on for Rangers. Rahmani, could he have been the Kosovan Miovski? Possible, but that deal to take him to Sparta Prague of 4.25 million does kind of beg the question: were Rangers ever truly interested? Were Rangers ever truly in for Rahmani? I mean, the kid looks a good player. He's a goal scorer. He's quick. Looks a decent player. And as Caleb says, that's more than that's. We paid more for Dessers. We certainly did pay more for Cyril Dessers. Good evening, Owen and troops. Good evening to you, and how you doing? Aldo says 4 goals. I think it's 3 goals actually, Aldo, in 5. Gross Scotland says Big Dessers is trying his heart out. Said to somebody earlier who said he's hit and miss. Yeah, he might miss 4 out of 5 shots, but he keeps trying and is scoring. Right, this week has been one real kind of mixed week for Rangers, hasn't it? I think after that game on Tuesday night, we kind of had to come to the realization that the season is, I don't know, it's kind of busted. It's a bit busted at the moment, isn't it? It really genuinely is. Obviously, I think a lot of the philosophy for the transfers, a lot of philosophy for this rebuild or supposed rebuild was behind qualifying for the Champions League, or even getting around further than the Champions League. Getting to the playoff round would have netted us another 5 million. Obviously, useful money for the coffers, useful money for the player budget. Getting to the Champions League would have netted us somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 million. Obviously, again, useful money for the Champions League. But you look, at the end of the day, losing out on that money is massive for this club. It's absolutely massive for this club. It really genuinely is. I'll go back to that in a minute. RFC 56 says we can beat teams like St Johnstone, well, County, but it's when we really step up a level that's the problem. RFC 56, that is exactly the issue. Like I've said, I think we all underestimate how crap the rest of the SPL truly is. But it's when we have to go up that level to beat Celtic or to beat a team in Europe that we then struggle to take it up that level. Absolutely. Blue Nose says, are there any rumours of Dessers being sold? There was a story that Thessaloniki were interested in him. I mean, that seems to have all died a death, John, if I'm being honest. And Dessers, the deals to sell Dessers, I can't see him being sold between now and the end of the window unless we have something lined up. But, with the unlikelihood of Shankland doesn't appear to be on the radar of the club, with Rachmani now gone. Look, at the end of the day, I can't see him being sold. I think, personally, the three strikers that we've got in Dessers, Danilo and Igman, possibly Lovelace, you can include in that as well. They're the four strikers now through till at least January, so I can't see any of that being added to. Back to what I was saying. Look, we are in a position now where we have to kind of deal with what we've got. We kind of have to. Look, I know today it's the only 18th of August today, 19th tomorrow, so that's 11 days left before the window closes. I can't genuinely see a lot of players coming and a lot of players going out at this moment in time. There's suggestions, obviously, that Cantwell may leave, that Hadji may leave. But I think the problem we've got, guys, is Rangers have painted themselves into a corner. I'll get to that in a minute, Janet. Yes, I'll talk about that story in a minute. We've painted ourselves into a corner because in terms of the likes of Cantwell and Hadji, teams know that we want them gone. Teams know that we want to sell them. And what they're going to do, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is they're going to wait till the 30th of August. They're going to wait to the last possible minute to come in with transfer offers for them because they know by that point we're going to be desperate. We're going to be desperate to get rid of them. We're going to need to get rid of them. We're not going to want to have Cantwell sitting on 25 grand a week on our squad until January. We're not going to want Hadji sitting on our wage budget on 20 odd grand a week, or 24 grand a week, whatever he's on at this moment in time. We're not going to want that. There's no way that the club are going to want 59 grand's worth of wages a week going to two players who don't want to be here, two players who've been isolated to the B team, two players that are not going to play first team football. So we've painted ourselves into a corner. We've put ourselves in a very weak position here. Now, the likelihood is that, like I said, clubs will wait until the very last minute on the 30th of August. Will come in with bids that may or may not be accepted. Rangers may by that point be desperate to get rid of them because, like I said, they don't want that much sat on the wage bill. We then have to clear them out. There then becomes a mad scramble to spend that money and to bring players in. Now, we may have targets lined up. We may not have targets lined up. I don't know. But the situation is that we are, as a club, I think now, stuck with what we've got. We have to deal with it as we are here on the 18th of August. You look at the squad. You look at who's in that squad now, and that, I think, is pretty much it. And what is really scaring me, guys, and worrying me going forward is that squad is substantially weaker than last season's squad. And last season's squad wasn't good enough. That squad is full of players who last season were squad players or bench players who are now playing first team football because of the fact that players have moved on. And I'm not saying that these players, it's bad that these players have moved on, but Bourne has moved on, Goldson's moved on, Lundstrom's moved on, Roof's moved on. All these players are gone, and what we've kind of replaced them with is what we've already got in the squad. And for me, that's not good enough for this club. And I've got to say, I agree wholeheartedly here with what Scott says here. Scott says the manager's been given a raw deal. It says we should be grateful we have him to see this through. He could have left. Others would ask if he's the right man. Time will tell. He has been given a very bad deal. He really has, in terms of what he's being asked to do. He's been asked to basically fight with one hand tied behind his back, to go up against Celtic, to advance in the Europa League with one hand tied behind his back because he can't go out and get the players that he wants now. I think the whole situation was based on qualifying for the Champions League, for getting 40 million, 30 million, whatever it is that you get for the Champions League these days, money that is now not going to be coming into the club. And it puts Rangers in a desperate position where we do have to sell players to get players in, and we can't bring in perhaps the first-rate players that we wanted to because of the fact we haven't got Champions League football to offer anymore. And there is, for me, a real issue there. Janet says, I've heard any truth in that. I mean, yeah, the rumour is that the Rangers are interested in a left-back. I can't remember the guy's name. If I quickly find out his name, I think I saw it on Twitter earlier. Here we go. Rangers have shown an interest in Salernitana left back Damango Badaric, who is a Croatian. Open talks for a loan option to buy, but Salernitana asking an obligation to buy upon reaching certain conditions. Expected a new round of talks in the next few days. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we need a left back. I don't think we need a left back. Look, Ridvanier is out injured. And Ridvan, obviously, there's always that uncertainty over Ridvan and his ability to get fit, his ability to play, his ability to stay fit once he is fit. And I think the 4 to 6 weeks or whatever it was that Clement said, he's very ambitious. You're looking more 8 to 10 weeks, even possibly 12 weeks for Ridvan to come back. So for me, I would say that, you know, we've got Robbie Fraser. We've got Hefte. I thought Hefte did well yesterday at left back. Yes, it was only St Johnstone. I think Robbie Fraser is a cracking little player. You know, I'd rather see Robbie Fraser given an opportunity to play and impress. I really would. You know, if we have got money to buy a player, then for me, there are much more pressing needs than a left back, a number 6, a number 10, a striker, a right back, a centre back, all more pressing. Why a left back? Go and buy a right back. I'm sorry, but if Sterling is more better used in midfield, which, you know, he may well be in the long run, we cannot continue with James Tavernier at right back. James Tavernier was a fucking embarrassment yesterday. Absolute embarrassment yesterday. He was skinned every time they ran at him. His shots were woeful. His crosses were worse. His set-piece delivery was pathetic. He was an absolute embarrassment yesterday. And how that man keeps on playing for this club, I will never know. So, Janet, I hope there is no truth in that rumour. It's, you know... what else we've got? Celtic rip our defence apart, sadly. What else we've got? Look, we're not going to challenge, but we can still, we will, and we'll all get behind the club. Of course we will. You know, we'll all support the club to the very end. You know, we're Rangers till we die. But at the end of the day, the issue is the club is not good enough or strong enough in this position. And yeah, I think we realistically have to look at it. The fact we're not going to win anything this season. Blue Nurse says, do you think there'll be an Aaron Ramsey type sign towards the end of the window to appease the fans? Mate, I hope not. I really hope not. You know, I really, really genuinely hope not. Because at the end of the day, we don't want that type of player with the club. I mean, realistically, you know, Ramsey was a waste of time, a waste of wages. And I don't want a player being brought in who's just coming here to try and further the wages. I just think who's just trying to get wages or to continue his career that's already over. I just hope that is not at all the issue. Can do with Barron in all midfield. Barron was outstanding. Barron was brilliant yesterday when he came on. I think so too, Owen, but scary that Tav and Wright are there and Clement relying on them. I think the problem is, Janet, that's what we've got to do. That's what we've got to do. Bennett throwing 23 million into this club, I hear. I'll wait for that day order. I'll faint if that happens. Does anybody else think watching yesterday that Tav doesn't look interested anymore and doesn't want to be here? That's the impression I'm getting from his body language. Ewan, I thought he was appalling yesterday. He was appalling. He was absolutely appalling yesterday. So we know that. So does Big Phil, but no one can do anything. The board knows that as well. Hoxter says that he did say, yeah, we did say, didn't he, that we weren't going to sign a left back. It's interesting that this is a story that is coming out in the media. Really is. Look, damn it was a poor game on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. What else have we got here? Loads of different points, guys. I am struggling to keep up with your comments tonight. I do apologise. If Clement is determined to play with a 10, then surely that's a priority. No way we can pin our hopes on Lawrence. Stevie, that's a great point. We're going to get to that in a minute. Maida will terrorise Tav this season. Exactly. 100% agreed. 100% agreed. You know, I've got to say yesterday, the issue for me yesterday was that, number one, we didn't play appallingly badly. We weren't great. We weren't terrible. It was better than Tuesday night. Yes, it was only St Johnstone. I hate to keep saying that. I really do. But, you know, at the end of the day, part of the problem yesterday was our lack of clinicalness in front of goal, our lack of ability to finish yesterday. I mean, it should have been 1, 2 or 3 up by half time. We should have been coming away from Hampden or sitting at home watching that game and saying 4-5-0. That's standard. That is standard. That's what we should be doing against St Johnstone in the cup. So for me, it was disappointing that we didn't win by more yesterday. But, that lack of clinicalness, that lack of finishing a cutting edge is something that really does concern me. And I think the problems go beyond just, the six, the wingers. The problems go in terms of, number one, the striker, I still think is a problem. Cyril Dessers has done very, very well so far this season. But for me, he's still massively unreliable in terms of actually finishing. Danilo looks weeks away from being fit. He really does. I think it's going to take a good 3, 4, 5 weeks for Danilo to get himself match sharp. I think, there's chances that he had yesterday that if he's match sharp, he probably takes. I mean, that one that was saved by Ray, that from the Diamande shot, it comes out. And I think, obviously he's following in. Ray does really well, don't get me wrong, to spread himself nice and big. But I think a fully match fit, a fully sharp Danilo probably takes that chance. So, look, I think we are lacking a lot of sharpness there. I also think number 10 is a major issue as well. Dio played there yesterday. Dio's not really a 10, he's more an 8. Lawrence is definitely not the answer. He's walking football. The manager's made it clear he's not going to play Hadji. He's not going to play Cantwell. He doesn't seem to fancy Lowry either. So, realistically, if he's going to persist with a 10, he needs to go out and get a proper 10. Someone who can, do the things he wants a 10 to do. Because at the moment, I do feel that at the club, there is not a real 10. A genuine out-and-out 10 who can do that job. Lawrence, to me, is not a 10. He's not an out-and-out 10. He's not quick enough. He doesn't get about the park enough. He can't go beyond the striker. He's not fast enough. I just think that he lacks in so many areas for me. Ewan says, Barron and Cheney, man of the match, in my opinion. Brilliant. Barron, I've got to say, Connor Barron is somebody, who, for me, just keeps on impressing all the time. Keeps on really impressing with what he does. I mean, Connor Barron yesterday, again, always offering for the ball. Every ball that he plays, his first thought is look forward, get my head up. Who's moving? Who's ahead of me? Who can I get the ball to forward of me? How can I get this ball moving forward? How can I have that positive pass early on? Connor Barron is different class. I mean, he is different class. If we could get another 11 or 10 more Connor Barrons, that would be absolutely fantastic. But the kid for me, has really impressed. Scott says, why does he keep playing Tav? Do you think Clement wants him to stay? I think I don't know. I mean, Clement, to me, he seems to trust Tav. I don't know why. Part of it might be because he doesn't trust Sterling at right back, or he doesn't trust Devine at right back. Or perhaps, he sees that we've got to play Sterling elsewhere because we haven't got the numbers there in midfield or out wide. I think the problem we've got, Scott, is we're stuck with this squad, and the moment Tav's kind of all we've got at right back. Yes, he is shit, but unfortunately we are stuck with him. RFC 56 said, missed out on 40 million quid, couldn't beat Hearts, but everything's great. I mean, I think a bit of sarcasm there from RFC 56. I don't think everything is great. Tav gets a game simple because he's our captain. I don't know. He shouldn't be the captain, though, should he, Stuart? I mean, we all know that. Yeah, Hefte did really, really well yesterday. I thought Hefte was very, very, very good yesterday, Thomas. The problem Clement has now is he's told the players that are to go. So if he's not gone, yeah, absolutely. I think that is another thing. I think you can only imagine what the atmosphere is like in the dressing room at this moment in time. You really, you can't understand, I suppose, that if you've been sat down and told you are not part of my project, you are not part of my plan going forward, but then you're still then being asked to go out there and play, are you going to be giving 100% effort? Are you going to be putting your body on the line all the time? Probably not. So for me, it's a worrying one. The club is in a mess at this moment in time, an absolute mess. Cameron says, just my opinion, we need another winger. McCausland, right, Matondo ain't proper first team starters. We need better. Cameron, I think you're right. We do need another winger. I mean, obviously that could have been Cortez, but Cortez is injured. I think, we do need to go out and get another winger. But unfortunately, where's the money coming from? Scott, I mean, he could have played him there yesterday, but I don't think he sees him as a 10. So I can't see that happening. I genuinely can't see that happening. Yeah, absolutely can't see that happening at all. Stephen says, I think that Big Phil needs Sterling elsewhere on the park. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably, why he's still using Tav where he is, because at the end of the day, he's seeing that Sterling's needed in midfield. He's needed in the wing. The fact this squad is just not strong enough. This squad is not good enough at this moment in time, and it really is weak. very weak at this moment in time, and it's worrying. Given the fact, like I said, there are only 11 days left of this window. What do we do? What do we genuinely do? Gross Scott says, I'm really impressed with Hefte, big, agile, and pacey. Is he the finished product? No, but he looks good on the ball. Gross Scott, that's a great point. I thought Hefte did really, really well yesterday. I thought he played well. I thought he tried hard. I thought he was good going forward. I thought he was good at the back. I thought actually him and Rabbi Matondo actually linked quite well yesterday. I actually think Rabbi Matondo had quite a decent game yesterday for me. He looked lively. He looked good going forward. I thought he looked quite decent. So for me, I think, he is a good player. Like I said, I thought some of the link-up play between him and Matondo was first class. I mean, there was some little runs around the outside, runs inside. I thought there was, the very, very good start of a bit of a relationship building there between the two. And look, we can all say what we want about Rabbi Matondo. And, perhaps Rabbi Matondo isn't good enough. I really do. But we may need to just get the best out of him. We may need to do all we can to get the best out of Rabbi Matondo, because this moment in time, we are what we are. This squad is what it is. We'll look at the squad in a minute. He plays Tav because Sterling is injury prone, whereas Tav isn't, but Tav's lost interest and pace, needs to go. But like all the high earners, no one wants them. They're not good enough. I mean, that is a little bit of a true statement, isn't it? You look at the situation there in terms of Tav and of the wages that he's earning. And I've said this on so many videos now, and I've said this until I'm blue in the face. The issue you've got is when you've got players earning such wages, they're not going to want to go. They're not going to want to take a wage cut. And if I heard a great point earlier about I can't remember. I was listening to some podcasts this morning at work while I was working, and that's weird, isn't it? At work working, and they said about Cantwell is, Cantwell ain't bothered. If Cantwell doesn't get his transfer, he'll sit on 25 grand a week until the end of the season. He isn't bothered. He's going to get his money no matter what. He's going to get 25 grand a week no matter what. So at the end of the day, he's just going to sit there. He's going to sit on it. He is going to sit on it. He just is. And look, at the end of the day, that's where we are. That's where we are at this moment in time. What's wrong with the best of the young SPFL? Our primary goal is domestic, so surely these boys would do a job for us, says Ken. Look, mate, you don't have to convince me. Many fans not showing up is message to the board because we're playing at Hampden. I think there's a lot of that in the fact that people don't like playing at Hampden. Genuinely don't like Hampden, don't like being at Hampden. I think that is a big part of why those crowds. It's also, I think, a lot of the thing is protest. Rangers fans have always been known as fans who will vote with their feet, and if things aren't good enough, they're not going to turn up. That's a fact. And things aren't good enough. Absolutely not. We're going to have a look at the squad in a minute. But look, I would like to see. I'd actually like to see some of the young lads given a chance. I'd like to see some of the young lads brought in. I don't think they can do any worse. I mean, Robbie Fraser, I thought, did well when he came on yesterday. I thought Ross McCausland was excellent yesterday. I thought Ross, the finish was cool. It was calm. It was collected. He didn't rush it. He didn't snap at it. He didn't try and take too many touches. He just did the right thing straight away, waited for the keeper to go to ground, dinged it over him, took his goal beautifully. So for me, that was a lovely finish. And if more players did that, were a bit more calmer like Ross McCausland, then I genuinely think that, they'd perhaps score a few more goals. Let's have a quick look. Some more comments before we talk about the squad. Campbell asked to go, but he and his agent should be busting a gut to get a new club. I hope he never wears a Rangers jersey again, personally. Bennett pumped 23 million into the club, I heard. Says Aldo. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked into that, mate. Need some of Rangers women in the first team. They do a better job. Amazing in their league. Kenneth says Rabbi Matondo and Shaqiri, Cherney back up Dessers. Interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we look at the squad. This is the squad going forward now, I think. And, realistically, the squad that we've got now, I think, is pretty much going to be the squad that we have to compete the rest of this season with. It really genuinely is, to be honest with you, going forward. Right, so let's have a quick look. So, squad: Butland, Kelly, Budanakis, and Munn. That's our goalkeepers. I mean, a goalkeeping position is one for me that is strong enough. It really is. The goalkeeping position is very, very strong. in terms of, the players there. I mean, Butland is a good goalkeeper. Kelly is a good goalkeeper. But Danakis and Munn, obviously unknown. I know that, from what I've seen of Munn in the youth team, and I've watched a little bit of Mason Munn, he looks a very good player. So I don't think that I've got no worries about the goalkeeping position. I've heard some interesting talk about, let's sell Butland for 10 to 12 million and use the money to buy players. I think the only issue with that is where do you go from that? What do you do? I mean, you're going to have to then sign another goalkeeper, because realistically, I don't think Liam Kelly is going to be the man. I don't think Liam Kelly can be the number one. So you're going to have to go and buy another number one. So that's some of the money gone already. And then once you've got that money, well, then you've still got a situation where the squad is over bloated. You've got a big wage bill. I don't think it's just as simple as sell Butland, get 15 million, buy some players. That for me is an actual solution to the problem. We look at right back, Tavernier, Sterling and Devine. I mean, realistically, out of those three, the only one good enough is Dujon Sterling. Central defenders, Proper, Davis and Ciala, Suter, Balogun and King. Thomas Shankton, that's funny. I can't bring it up, but that is really funny. Proper's obviously injured. We're hoping it's not serious, but this is Rangers. We're probably going to find out he's out for 6 months now. You know what it's like. Davis isn't up to me, and Ciala's a development player. Suter is okay. I thought Suter played well Tuesday night. I thought he played okay last night. Suter's decent. He's not a starter, but he's decent. Balogun is probably our best central defender, but he's 36. He's not fit. He doesn't always stay fit. King, I don't think is the answer at centre-back. So for me, we're still short one centre-back. Left-back, Ridvan, Jeff Hefte and Fraser. I think, on paper, the left-back out area is probably the strongest position on the field. But the issue you've got is, can Ridvan actually stay fit? Can that lad actually stay away from the injury table for any length of time? That's the worrying thing. Hefte, I thought, did well. I think he can deputise. I think he's good enough for the SPL. I think there are question marks over his defensive skills, but, against the likes of Ross County, Dundee United, Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts, it's enough. It's enough. It's definitely enough. Central midfield, Diomande and Barron. I think Dio and Barron are class. I really do. I really like Dio and Barron. I think that's good enough. Janet says there's not many players on there that are up to it. I'd agree, Janet. Dowell, he's hit and miss. I don't think he played particularly badly yesterday. I don't think he played particularly well yesterday. I mean, to be honest with you, I kind of forgot Dowell was playing yesterday at one point. So, he didn't pull up any trees. He didn't look great. McKinnon is a young lad. I'd like to see McKinnon given a chance. Don't get me wrong. We don't know what we've got with McKinnon. Is he going to be good enough? Possibly, possibly not. We don't know. Raskin, again, he's a player. He needs to stay fit. If he can stay fit, who knows? Who knows? The 10 position is just a nightmare. Lawrence is not up to it. Lowry, bye-bye. I don't know. Lowry, to me, just doesn't seem to be fancied by the manager. Hadji and Cantwell, we know, won't be played. I mean, I personally don't get why we're not playing Hadji. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand it. I know there's this $6,000 thing, but, at the end of the day, for me, if you're paying his wages, play him. You're paying his wages, play him. I mean, what happens, like I said, if we get to the 1st of September and Yanis Hadji is still a Rangers player? Do we leave him in the stands on $24,000 a week because we're too scared to pay him that $6,000 a week extra, and we don't play him? We don't play him. I mean, to me, that makes absolutely zero sense to me. Grant Will says PC is going to need at least 3 to 4 windows to get his own team on the park the way the finances are. In that time, the high wage earners should be gone. Grant, I think, that's right. Patience. But as I've said on a number of occasions, if we lose on the 1st of September to Celtic, do you think there's a large portion of our support are going to stay patient, given the fact that will be another loss? Now, I'm not saying for a minute, okay, that he should be sacked. I'm not saying that for a minute. But what I'm saying is, do you think that a large proportion of our fan base are going to stay silent and are going to be happy if we lose again to Celtic on the 1st of September? I don't think so. Yeah, Stevie, I know I haven't. I borrowed this graphic from Rangers Review. So, yeah, Rice could be in there, but Rice doesn't seem to be part of the plans. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. He genuinely doesn't seem to be part of the manager's plans. Yes, he was on the bench yesterday, but I don't think that he genuinely seems to be part of the manager's plans going forward, which I think is a shame. I think he could be a very good player for us. He's a natural 6. He's very positive in his passing. He's good in his tackling. He's good with his ball distribution. As I've said lots and lots on this channel, I honestly feel that if you have McKinnon, if you have Rice, Uncio, Lovelace, McCausland, Fraser, McKinnon, players like this, if you put them in against St Johnstone, Ross County, Dundee United, Hibs, those types of teams, if you can't play and beat that lot, then yeah, you probably aren't ever going to be good enough. But how do we know these kids are going to be good enough if we're never, ever going to play them? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And for me, like I said, I think these kids are good enough. Bailey Rice is probably better than Bailey Rice would walk into Dundee's team, Dundee United's team, Hart Hibs team, Ross County's team, St Johnstone's team, as would McKinnon, as would Fraser, as would Lovelace, as would any of those boys. So I don't get why Clement will not take a chance on them when we're so short on numbers. I genuinely don't understand it. Like I said, the 10 position is just embarrassing. Cortez and Matondo, realistically at the moment, it's only Matondo with the Cortez injury. Tierney, McCausland and Wright. I mean, Scott Wright, that name just depresses me. How that guy gets a game when he's one of the worst players I've ever seen in my entire life. Ross McCausland I like. Tierney I like. The strikers, for me, Danilo Dessers and Igman. I mean, the whole Igman situation is just a joke. I mean, it really is. I mean, I don't know what's happening with him. He seems to have gone missing. He seems to be not fit. Then he is. I don't know. It's just a bit of a farce. But realistically, that's what we've got. That is it. That is it. Grant says we can't keep rinsing, repeating, or we'll never touch that, Mob Owen. So the fans need to be patient. They do. Absolutely, Grant. I agree with you. But the problem is, Grant, I don't know whether the fans will be patient. If we go to Parkhead and we get beat at Parkhead, and we lose again and we're 5 points behind them after only 4 games, do you think the fan base are going to be patient? Realistically, do you think it is going to be patient? I don't know. I genuinely don't know if it is. Really don't. I mean, Scott, yeah, I agree. We may as well. Yeah, I would love to see Bailey Rice played. I would love to see that those kids given a chance to play. Now, look, we play our next game is Ross County on Saturday, right? We've got Ross County. It's live here on the channel, guys, if you want to come and join me for it. So, yeah, Ross County, obviously, is live on the channel on Saturday. So please come and join us for that. Now, what I would like to see the manager do is take a chance, take a bit of a chance, and actually, play some of the kids. Give some of the kids a chance to play. Give some of the kids a chance to actually go out there and impress. I would also like to see him not be as rigid in his system. I'd like to see him go and, to vary his system and to try something different. I would like to see him go 4-3-3. I really would. I'd like to see a 4-3-3 against them. It's Ross County at the end of the day. It's Ross County. Now, this is what I would like to see as a starting lineup against Ross County on Saturday. Okay, this is what I would like to see if I can actually get this to work. So here we go. So I would like to see him go 4-3-3. I'd like to see him go with Butland in goal, obviously. I'd like to see Sterling, Suter, Balogun and Fraser. I think we need to rest proper to make sure he's fully fit for the Celtic game. Balogun, if he's fit, to me, starts because Balogun for proper is just 50. Is a straight swap. Suter realistically is going to keep his place on the right side of defence because we haven't got another right side of defender. Robbie Fraser at left back. I want to see Robbie Fraser play at left back because I think Robbie Fraser. Is a quality player. I think he really is. I think he 100% is a top player. I think he's good as a left winger, good as a left back. He goes forward. He plays well. Rangers Journal. Hey, how you doing? Still waiting for my invite, guys. Still waiting for my invite. I'm good, mate. How are you all doing over at Rangers Journal? So, yeah, waiting for my invite, guys. You're always invited on here, of course. So this is what I'd like to see. A midfield three, then. I'd like to see a three. Rice at 6, Dio in the middle, and Barron as the 8. That's what I'd like to see. 4-3-3. Give Dio the license to go forward a little bit, to attack, to move forward. Barron and Rice can sit beside. Barron can come forward a little bit more. Rice can sit, be the 6. Yeah, of course, mate. You can please put up your links. Yeah, absolutely. Rangers Journal. If you want to drop the link to your channel, Rangers Journal, please feel free. Drop it in there. I haven't got it on here, mate. So if you've got it, please drop it in the live chat now. Yeah, so midfield 3, Rice, Dio, and Barron. Front 3 then, Cheney wide right. Danilo, we've got to give Danilo more minutes. If we want Danilo to be match fit, if we want to see the best of Danilo going forward, we've got to play Danilo up front. Hefte at left, and then put Hefte at left wing. I just think for me, that's an attacking lineup. It's enough to beat Ross County. Play 4-3-3. Play 4-3. Just do something different. To me, we haven't got the way I look at it is this, guys. Clement may want to play 4-2-3-1, right? He may want to play 4-2-3-1, right? Okay. But we haven't got the players to play 4-2-3-1. We genuinely have not got the players to play 4-2-3-1. No, I don't think, no, he isn't, Scott. But what I'm saying is, Clement says that he blocked out his back or something and it hurt his groin and he should be okay. I mean, the exact quote was, let me see if I can find the exact quote from him. The exact quote was this. This was Clement's quote about Proper, mate. This is what he said. He said, I think Robin will be okay. Blocked his back, but then the problem with groins because of that. But I hope and I think it will not be a bad injury. That's what he said. Now, what I'm saying is rest him. Don't play him against Ross County because, look, we should be beating Ross County, even if it's at Hampden and not at Ibrox. You know, I think at the end of the day, we should be give him a rest, make sure he's fit for Celtic. For me, I don't want to put Proper in against Ross County. He breaks down. You know, he can't play anymore, and then we haven't got him against Celtic. That's what I don't want. That's what I don't want. Okay, I don't want to see that. I realistically don't want to see that. So for me, what I want to see is us going out there, giving him a little bit of a rest. Go with Balogun, or go. You know, if he's fit. You know, or if not Balogun, go with King or someone like that. You know, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. There's the link, guys, to Rangers Journal. If you haven't subscribed to the Rangers Journal, check out Rangers Journal. Great channel, fantastic podcast. Give it a check out, please. But I want to see some of the kids given a chance. Thomas, I've always said, buddy, I am willing, unlike some podcasts out there, to support every Rangers content creator. I am happy to have any Rangers content creator on my channel. I'm happy to have any Rangers content creators. You know, we had the Not Under the Rangers podcast boys on. I've had Curry on. I'll have the Journal guys on anytime they want. I will support any Rangers podcast. I'm not cocky. I'm not arrogant. I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. I don't look down on any of the podcasts like some Rangers content creators do. I will always support all the channels, mate, guys. So please obviously check that one out. Blue Nose makes a good point. Injuries are mounting again. Yeah, they are. Cameron, it's a 4 to 6 week injury, which I think will be more like an 8 to 10 weeks injury. I'd love to see him do something different. Now, like I said to you, look, he may want to play 4-2-3-1. Yeah, Cameron, that's probably not a great idea. Me and Stevie had a bit of a falling out over something. You're angry a lot. I am angry a lot. I do get angry. Yeah, Proper Collector. You know why I get angry? Because I'm fed up of finishing second to Celtic. I'm fed up of being second best in Scotland. All I want is the best for this team. I want my team back at the top of the Scottish game where it belongs. And I'm fed up of them being second best. Thank you, Joe. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, he may want to play 4-2-3-1, but have we got the players? Have we got the players to play 4-2-3-1? You know, we haven't got a 10, not at the club, not a real 10. We haven't got a real 6 at the club. We haven't got decent enough centre backs. So for me, it's about adapting your squad, adapting your formation to suit what you've got, about adapting the team to match the need. It's about adapting your team to match your players and to get the best out of your players. And you may have a system that you like playing, but if you haven't got the players within that system or the players in your squad to play your system, you've got to adapt your system to match your players. So you're not putting square pegs in round holes. And that for me is where I want to see a little bit of a change. I'd love to see 4-3-3. Alan says he won't play Hefte and Fraser at the same time. I get Hefte as the best left wing, but that is both left backs on the pitch at the same time. Hefte and Matondo were okay yesterday. I thought they did really well yesterday. I did like them. 100%. Do you think the club's going to go under again, the way it's been handled? Steve, I don't think the club will go under. I really don't. I really don't know. I think the club has been managed in a way that it's not going to go under. We're not spending enough money to go bankrupt. I think the income, obviously, with players going out, with the wage bill has come down by about £200,000 a week. I don't think that this club is in danger of becoming and starting a scenario like 2012. I can't see 2012 happening again. What does worry me is that we could become the Espanyol to their Barcelona, the Dortmund to their Munich. We could become like Dundee United and Aberdeen from the aspect that those two clubs used to be contenders in Scotland. Aberdeen won the league. I think it was 83, was it? Dundee United once got to the final of the UEFA Cup. And I don't want to see Rangers go that way. I really don't. Cameron, it's good you're angry like we are all true Rangers supporters. Stevie Cool is a sound guy. I'm sure you can sort it out. It's all about the Jers. We've got Joseph Goebbels in our Premier League team and Joseph Mengele in our medical department. Gio Van Broncos was adaptable. PC needs to think. Yeah, I think he does. I think we need to see a readaptment. We need to see a change in tactics to suit what. Come on, that's cool. Thanks, Scott. It'd be good to have you on, buddy. Good to have you on. Yeah, guys, please check out the Rangers Journal. Fantastic podcast. Please subscribe to that channel. Stephen, that's got to be the desire, mate. That's got to be the desire. But where is the money coming from? Shaqiri is the best on the market. Free transfer, can play 10. He can, but can we pay his wages, guys? Can we pay his wages? Look, this week has been mixed. Look, we're going out of Champions League. It's a disaster. Financially, it's a disaster. We needed that money. We 100% needed that money. We needed the 40 million. We needed the money in. We're not going to get it. We've got to now come up with plan B or plan C or plan D or whatever the hell plan we're on now. Yes, getting through against St Johnstone was a good result. I do think the post-match celebrations were embarrassing. The reason I think they were embarrassing is because could you imagine a Sooners team doing that after beating St Johnstone in the second round of the League Cup? Could you imagine Richard Gough, Terry Butcher, Terry Hurlock, Davy McPherson? Could you imagine John Gregg doing that? No, I can't. I think it was a little bit embarrassing, to be honest with you. At least Danilo is getting his sharpness back slowly. Tav is getting worse rapidly. Thank you, Joe, for doing that. Good lad. Please, the rest of you, check it out. Right, guys, that is it for this evening. That is the end of the final word. This week, we'll obviously have daily videos. We'll also have not only just daily videos, we'll have obviously as well live podcasts this week. I'm going to schedule this evening what's coming up this week. We've got the live stream as well on Saturday. So please come and join us for that. Papa Collector, I love CJ. I absolutely love CJ. Blue Nose, that's gone very quiet now and it sort of died away. Yeah, I think that's right, Scott. But I think the problem is, Scott, there's just no money there to invest. And I just genuinely think there wasn't the money there because unless we sell, we can't buy. That's quite clear. I think that's what the board have said. That's what Clement has said. We didn't sell. If we'd sold Hadji, Clement and somebody else, then we may have been able to bring in 2 or 3 players to support the Champions League squad. But it is what it is, mate. It is what it is. Yes, he is, Cameron. 100%. 100%. Right, guys, I'll be back this week. Thank you for watching The Final Word. Bit of a hit and miss tonight. I am absolutely exhausted. I do apologise, not to the usual standard. Thank you for watching The Final Word. As always, on the way out, please smash that like. And remember, always, we are the people.